Hey, I'm Butterfly.
Hey, I'm Firefly.
Have you ever wondered if we aren't being told the truth about everything?
What have we been lied to about? Join us as we have conversations and ask questions about everything. We invite you to keep an open mind and consider the unfathomable.
Let's break the chains that enslave our minds. Come on, let's go down the rabbit hole.
What's up, Butterfly?
Hey, Firefly, what's going on?
Is the tide turning?
I don't know. That's what we're going to ask today in this rabbit hole.
When Roger Waters left Pink Floyd, he did a solo album and he had a song that goes, "Mm, the tide is turning." And I think we could sing that like to that country from 1948 right now.
Yeah.
Like if he went and played a concert there and played that song, they'd be all terrified.
Well, we heard some of the officials are getting scared. They're
The
getting,
officials,
they're
the
getting,
elites,
yeah, they're getting terrified. They're
they should be.
worried. They should be because they're evil psychopaths and they've been
Totally.
doing like horrible, evil things to humanity.
And now people aren't cowering in the face of them anymore. They're going up and like the one dude was all telling him, he's like, dude, you're from that country from 1948. Get out of here, bro. Go
I,
back to that country.
well, so Alex Jones was showing that guy like just like basically like attacking people on the street
Yeah.
was yeah,
Which is probably
which
controlled opposition.
yeah, I said which I don't think people are doing that. I don't know. Maybe I'm naive, but
No, no,
I
no. They're
don't
not doing that. What they do is they that's a desperate ploy for them to
to
portray themselves as the victim.
yeah, and to corral us and to tell us don't behave like that
This is
and
illegal now.
yeah,
That's totally it.
and there's there's all these anti-hate commercials and laws and we have czars to like control the anti-hate stuff and
It's
I'm
not gonna work.
yeah, but I'm like
All that's gonna do is make people hate them worse.
exactly. See, this goes back to my theory that I've had where I don't believe that there's like this systemic racism that they keep talking about and there's all this racism in the world. Like I think that most people, I mean, yeah, there may be a few people that are like that, but I don't think most people are just going around like hating somebody because of their race, but I think the media um creates that. And it's like it actually it what they create ends up becoming reality
Totally.
because they stir up this hatred and say that it's happening and then I think what's happening is people are getting so sick of hearing about it and hearing what some of these groups are doing that then they do actually start having like racist thoughts,
Totally.
so it's like I think it stems from the media and what they're doing because they want to divide and conquer.
Totally. That's what Cloward and Piven in their sweaters in Chicago. And she probably wore those glasses like Adrian from the original Rocky. Remember, she had like they had little
Yeah,
points,
yeah,
and they came to a little
cat
point.
eyes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and little like sweaters,
Cardigan sweaters.
cardigan sweaters, just to pull over that buttons down, even though it's kind of warm today. That's like probably Cloward and Piven. They probably looked like that.
Yeah.
So they came out and they did that. And so now Cloward and Pippen strategy, they'll come out and they'll be like those people from that country from 1948 will pay some black dude to go and spray paint the N-word on his locker at college. And then it'll come out and the investigation is like, well, you spray painted this on your own locker. Why'd you do that? Well, I'm still making a point. It does exist. But
Yeah.
you spray
But
painted it.
you made it exist.
Yeah. And then they had they caught like a couple other people from that country from 1948 going and spraying swastikas on a people from that country from 1948 cemetery. Did you see that? They totally.
The description ends up getting to be so long, but yeah. Um,
Because you gotta like if I just say the word, I know it's gonna get flagged.
it'll get flagged. So we have to speak in code.
When we speak in code, that country from 1948 does have to kind of, do you know who?
The you know who's. But yeah, I don't think that people are born racist, and I don't think that most people are growing up to be that way, but I think now what the media is doing is trying to like overcorrect, for lack of a better phrase. They're trying to overcorrect the problem by making it out to be this huge problem that everybody's doing, and these poor, who's in these poor other groups like, oh, we can't.
Epiphany.
What?
Racism was a ploy all along from those people from 1948
Yes.
to make it so that you couldn't criticize them, otherwise it's racist.
Yeah, I think we talked about that once before in one of our episodes. I think um they created this victim status so that
It's like their
you
ethos.
yeah,
It's a victim ethos.
so you couldn't criticize. But um what we're kind of like wondering now is, how we keep talking about, like, we think, and this is kind of a white pill, that all of these extreme things, like everything they've been pushing over the last several years,
Wokeism.
wokeism, like the ultra feminism thing, the Me Too movement, the globalism, the transy stuff, all of that stuff has gotten so
The
extreme.
pride.
The pride
Dude,
that,
pride is everywhere.
yeah, and we keep saying that it's going to get to the point where the pendulum is going to swing so far it's going to go the other direction, because people are going to get sick of it, and I think maybe that's what's starting to happen.
It is starting to happen, and you can see the controlled opposition getting ahead of it.
They're trying to get ahead of it.
And so you have Alex Jones going on there and like managing people's takeaway.
Yeah.
Like, so he was talking today, I was listening to his show, and he was like, okay, so here's this video, let's just watch it. And this guy goes up to this guy from that country from 1948, and he's like, dude, you're a you-know-who, look at you, you're all inbred, you got cross-eyed, dude. Go back to your pedophile country. And he's like yelling at him. He's like, who's this? Your Tinder date? Is this your faggot? And then Alex comes on and goes, "Now see, and that's like Dan Balzerian, you guys just want to go out there and just do that to these people. I'm not, dude, that's not right." It's like, dude, no,
I
those
don't
are
think,
those people are being paid and they're being
yeah.
put up to that, and it's just so that they can do that exact dynamic.
Hmm.
Alex can go, look at this ugly behavior. We need to be nice to those people from that country from 1948.
Yeah, exactly, because I don't think that that's organically happening out there.
Plus, he also kind of puts out this notion like not every one of those people from 1948 is a bad person. But I've heard that with the Muzzies too. Like people go, no, 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 he's a moderate Muzzy. Dude, there's no such thing as a moderate Muzzy. They are a block. Same with the people from the you know who's. They're a block.
Well, so I don't think, like, it's true they like stick to their tribe and they say, I'm in the tribe, bro.
I'm in the tribe, bro.
But like we've talked about this before, I don't think like the average person in like
You know,
either one of those groups, like, I just always refer, like, okay, the local guy that owns the watch store down the street, like I don't think like each
round them up, dude.
I don't think like those people are the problem. I don't think that they're, you
No,
know what I
they're
mean?
not the problem. But
I
if
don't think.
this is what I say about those people. Let's say hypothetically that the people from that country from 1948 took over the world and they started exterminating everybody that wasn't one. Those people would be happy to like round us up and hand us over to the
Well,
authorities.
I think they would be happy that they weren't one of us.
They are not one of
Yeah,
us.
but
They
I
would.
don't think the average just little person is, out, just like I don't think people
Have you
are
ever
out
seen
there
somebody
being
from that country
racist.
from 1948 that's homeless? No. Have you
That's
ever, you know,
that's an interesting point.
have you ever seen somebody from that country from 1948 that doesn't have a cushy
So
job?
so okay, this is interesting. Maybe this is an epiphany.
Hmm.
Um, they all tend to stick together, and they always help each other out. Like that guy told you, I'm in the tribe,
I'm in
bro.
the tribe,
That's how
bro.
he got that cushy job, and even though he was a loser, it
He
reminds
was
me,
addicted to pain pills.
yeah, it reminds me of the Mormons, because the Mormons are like that. They all
Hold.
help each other out, they stick together, and they always like, kind of provide for each other,
They also kind of look down on people who aren't in their tribe,
Uh-huh. It's
and
like
they
a
kind of look at them as expendable, and we can just use them and exploit them.
so um so it's kind of like a cult because
Totally.
Mormonism is a cult. And
So is that country from
so
1948.
so it's so it's almost like they're a cult too. And all of these like these groups, they're like cults that they always kind of just look out for their own people, which people could argue and say, well, that's a good thing to look out for your own people. Well, it is, but
But white people aren't allowed to do
not at the expense of a different group, you know what I mean? And like I have several Mormon friends, and they're all really good people. Like they're like some of the nicest people that you would ever meet, and I totally love them. And like I don't think that the average person in these groups are the problem. I think what's happened is it's the people at the top, just like everything else, the psychopaths at the top that are ruling the people because they tell them what to do.
it. That's right.
And they're like, you know, mini megalomaniac psychopaths, you know?
No, that's a good point. And I was talking with my mom about this. When we're talking about the you know who's, we're talking about a specific group, and I was narrowing it down.
Hmm.
The people who are carrying out the action in Gaza right now is the you know who's.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that control AIPAC. They're the ones that control our Congress. They're the ones that control our healthcare industry, our education, our government, our Hollywood, um, all the movies,
Yeah.
all of the news, and pretty much all the other aspects of our community, of
Existence.
our existence. So these are people who call themselves you know who's,
Mm.
but they're not all the you know who's. They apparently derive out of Babylon. I did some deep research on them because I was trying to figure out exactly what you're talking about. Is this all of them? No, but at the same time, your everyday down the street, you know who, is probably getting money from the synagogue, and they're probably getting opaque funds.
So this is kind of what my epiphany is leading to. It's like the average person isn't the problem and they're not like creating the problems, but since these things are like cults, they follow along. So they do what the leaders tell them to do, and that's where the problem is.
And then they
You
act
know
like,
what I mean?
well, I'm just innocent. I'm just going to this meeting, or I'm just going to the synagogue. Well, look at what they're doing in the name of that. So you need to not associate yourself with that. You need to distance yourself from that. Otherwise, you are part of it. See, I think that's what you have to do. At this point, you have to kind of renounce it.
Hmm.
Otherwise, I'm gonna kind of say you're part of it.
Right.
It'd be like if my dad supported me, but he was also like a slave owner, you know,
Hmm.
and some black guy comes up to me and goes, dude, like it was like say some black guy came up to me and my dad's a slave owner from 1781.
Okay.
And he comes up to me and goes, dude, your dad, bro. It's like, well, I don't agree with it, but I do have my dad supporting me and he pays for everything. And he's like, well, so then you're supporting it. It's like, no, but that's my dad, dude.
Yeah.
But then my dad croaks and then I take over the plantation.
Right.
And I don't get rid of him. I just kind of go, well, it's just the way that it is. That's another thing. It's just the
Yeah.
way that it is.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Like remember what's the guy's name who did E.T.?
Spielberg.
And then Steven Spielberg. He came in and he did a at the Academy Awards. It was probably like 25 years ago. He goes, yes, it is mostly people from that country from 1948, and get over it. We're the best. That
Whoa.
was what he said. We're the
See, that's
best. We're the smartest. We're the coolest.
see, that's gross because like that's the problem with the people from that country from 1948. They have it in their Bible, and in fact, this is funny that you brought that up because I remember there was a post I saw on Instagram. This was like, I don't know, at least a year ago, and I think I made a comment asking like, well, why do they all, stick together and think they're so good? And this person said, it is a problem. The comment was that he said, I'm from that country from 1948, and yes, that is a problem, and it's because we're raised to believe that we are special and we're the chosen ones, and so when you're raised to think that, you grow up with this attitude of thinking that you're better than everybody else.
Yes.
So
They
it's
totally are.
so that's kind of a problem,
They
you know?
think they're better than everybody else, and they think that they're entitled, and their Bible. I can't remember what it's called. The
The Torah.
Kabbalah. The Torah is the Old Testament of the Bible, and that's people who they believe in Moses still, but they just don't accept that Jesus is the Messiah. But these people from that country from 1948 are different than that even.
Mm.
They've got this Kabbalistic belief system, and they believe that Satan is their God. He's promised them the whole world, and that everybody else is goyim, and it's okay to utilize them. It's okay to just lie to them. It's okay to exploit them, and it's okay to enslave them. Their whole existence here on earth is to serve them.
Mm.
That's what they're taught in this philosophy.
So they are Satanists.
They're Satanists.
Wow.
Now, some might say, "We'll see." So the people who's have been hijacked by that group, and that might be so, but nonetheless that group hasn't renounced them because of how much power and money they have.
Yeah, and see, I don't think like, how most people don't really know like exactly what's going on in the world. I bet you most of the average, who's don't even realize that that's how it is either.
No,
You know what I
they
mean?
don't. But just because you're ignorant doesn't mean you're not complicit, maybe.
True. So, but anyway, to the point that we're trying to like
The tide is
go down the rabbit hole we're going down today is that it seems like all of that strife and all of that kind of like fighting with each other and everything, and then you add to that the this push for like one world government and extreme like just really liberal ideas and the Me Too thing and the trans stuff. I think what it's done is it's gotten so far in one direction that it's like pushing people the other way now finally. So now it seems like there's
finally.
finally seems like there's a shift towards the patriarchy and Christian values and
Because
tribalism.
look at how insidious it is. They make it so that if you do push back against it, you get canceled.
Yeah.
You can even go to
Go to
jail.
jail. Yeah.
Directly to jail is where very good. Oh my
You
God.
you can't ask any questions.
You
Like,
can't ask any questions. So now what's going on is people are pushing back and they give zero Fs.
mhm,
And I love that.
yeah.
That's the white beauty.
Yeah.
You have
The
to give zero Fs.
So the thing that we got to watch out for though is so like we watched Alex Jones was interviewing that pastor and he was saying how he thinks the tide is turning and people are moving back to tribalism and the patriarchy and Christian values. But what we have to watch out for is people like that who maybe controlled opposition who are like, oh, just sit back and do nothing. The white hats are in control.
That's right.
Like you don't have to worry. Just don't do anything. Just sit on your
There's a,
couch and
that's right. That's the whole Q thing too. I hate that. But there's also another insidious aspect of this in that the you know who's will hire people to go out and attack them
oh
and
yeah,
video. And
they'll
then they'll make a big deal about it. And they'll go, we need to have special laws that the czar puts in place now because look at this video evidence of all of these people from that country from 1948 being attacked.
yeah, they'll Jesse Smollett situations.
Jussie Smollett,
Yeah,
it was 3 in the morning and I had to get a Subway sandwich. And I
yeah,
was going, why is Subway open at 3 a.m.? And why
yeah,
you
that
gonna
was weird.
walk to Subway at 3:15 in the morning when it's 15
In
below?
wasn't he in like Chicago? Yeah, and it was like freezing cold, and he had to go get a Subway sandwich at 3 a.m.
And then just happens to encounter two MAGA dudes who are just really racist
Yeah,
at 3:15 walking to the same
and they
Subway.
just happened to have a noose. They were carrying a noose.
We just happen to have a noose on us. We were just looking for
We
some
were
Jesse
looking for some
Smollett.
black guy to be walking down the street.
Ah, it's just so stupid. And then he went on Barbara Walters or one of those shows and he did his crying interview and it's all fake. And they had another black dude who wrote something on his locker, and then they had some other black girl who wrote something on her locker. They're desperate for attention, and they know that in the climate, although the climate's changing, in the current climate, you can come out and scream the R word, and everyone will look.
Right.
Everyone will look.
Well, yeah, people have used this R word to like basically they're using it as an excuse for everything. And it's funny because so I have a friend who she is Asian, and she said that that she wrote a letter, I guess she wrote an email or something, um kind of like complaining, not really complaining, but just saying some of her concerns about one of the teachers at her son's school. And the letter was just sort of like, I'm worried about like, the homework assignments are whatever it was. It was something fairly generic, and immediately the teacher uh pulled out the race card and said, she's just mad at me because I'm Hispanic. And
They play the R card all the time.
yeah, so instead of like, oh, let me see what her concerns are, maybe they're valid, she just assumed that she was complaining because she's Hispanic. And
If it's real racist here, just move back south of Texas.
yeah,
You've got a lot of places you can go move.
and my friend was like, that is so ridiculous because she's also a minority, you know? So I guess the principal was
They're
like,
not minorities anymore, by the way.
maybe not, but
They're majorities.
the principal was like,
Majorities.
well, this mom is Asian, so she's, also a minority. And then I guess it kind of shut the teacher up. But it's funny how like a lot of people will just automatically pull out the race card. Like that's the reason for this complaint. It's not because you have a valid complaint
No.
or you have something, that actually is true and I need to address it. It's like, oh, she's just mad because she's racist, So I don't know. That was
You
like a
know,
first-hand account of
this
somebody
is
doing
another
that.
thing we've been conditioned my whole life. Like you'll see, like if a white person comes out and makes a comment, they'll just come out and say,
You're racist.
well, they'll no, like they'll preface their comment like this: as far as I can tell, looks like blah 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 blah. But if it's a black chick, she'll come out and she'll go, as a black woman, I think this.
Yeah,
Or a black
they
dude will come out,
preface it.
as a black man, I think this. Or like someone from that country from 1948 was like, as somebody from that country from 1948. So they preface it as their group, right?
Yeah.
Because what we've become is this identity politics obsessed culture.
Right. Whereas just like the example I just gave with that mom, it like the situation had nothing to do with race. It was about like homework assignments or something. It had zero to do about race, and most of these situations don't. But they like to throw the race card in there
And you
any
know what?
chance they can get.
That harkens back to that video we watched on Twitter where about the fallen angels.
Yeah.
Because what did the fallen angels say they wanted to do was cause division, and they
Hmm.
wanted to obscure from the people the fact that we are all one.
Exactly.
We are all one, and we're all connected to God. And so that's how when I was a kid, like I said, I grew up in Torrance. There was some kid from that country from 1948 living right next door to me. And I had Japanese people, Hawaiian people, I had Mexican people, we had blacks. My neighborhood was like the UN, dude, in Torrance back in 1980. Dude, it
Hmm.
was all different walks of life. And as a kid, I had an open, innocent heart, and I didn't see difference in people. It's been instilled in me.
That's what happens. The media has created this problem, and who runs the media?
Those people from that country from 1948.
Yeah,
And why is it so important for them to
be the
instill
victim.
all of this racial difference? Is because divide and conquer.
Right.
We are Cloud and Pivot.
Right.
Everyone needs to go look up Cloud and Pivot and learn about them because that's what it's all about. It's divide and conquer, and that's what the fallen angels are doing. But now the divide and conquer seems to be backfiring.
It seems to be because I think they pushed it too far. I think they pushed, and what they ended up doing is they ended up making a lot of people actually really hate some of them
Totally.
and hate what's going on and starting to question like these extreme agendas and starting
And
to
you know
push
what?
back on them.
I just had a revelation.
What?
that's kind of there's a historical context for that because I think maybe this is a cycle.
Oh, it is for
So I
sure.
think they come into prominence in a country and they kind of take over, and then the people of that country have to finally go, enough is enough, and then they kick them out of the country.
This has happened
How
before.
many times was it? It was like 108 different countries, 900 times. So if you look at European history going back to for 2000 years, those people from that country from 1948 have been kicked out of 108 different countries 900 times.
Wow.
Some of them, like Germany, they've
So
been
that's
kicked.
like 9 times in each country.
Germany kicked them out like 27 times.
Wow.
So, they always talk about Hitler
Hmm.
and they always talk about how mean he was. But apparently, there was lots of different German leaders who said no. In the Byzantine Empire, they reigned for 700 years, and the rule throughout the entire empire was those people from that country from 1948 couldn't hold any positions of power
Mm,
because they did this exact thing then. So I
that's
think
amazing.
everything that you're seeing that they're doing now is historically something that they've done. It's kind of their playbook.
Well, that's why we need to learn from history. And it's so sad that people don't, but they've been, you know, trained and brainwashed and drugged into a somatized state of not paying attention and becoming,
Yeah.
they're in Dory syndrome where they don't remember 5 minutes ago,
And
so
that's why it's conducive. Maybe that's why Big Shawarma is such a big part of the agenda.
totally.
Because if you're Big Shawarma'd out and you are Dory and you don't remember 5 minutes ago, you're not going to learn from history.
No, you're not going to remember, what happened in history 20 years ago or 50 years ago or 100 years ago. And, they say every civilization lasts around 250 years and we're kind of like coming up
We're
to the
right there.
to the end of
We're
it.
right there. And the
But
fourth turning,
yeah, and like around the end of those civilizations, everything seems to just sort of like crumble and turn
everybody's bloated.
debaucherous, and just people are just living in sin and living like these debaucherous
Like the
lifestyles.
people watching the Met Gala, they're not learning from history.
No,
They're not cognizant of what's going on around them.
no.
They're just sitting there just going, look at me. Oh my God.
Yeah, and all this gross stuff that they push on children and these perverse like agendas, these are all these kind of things have, I think, been done before,
I
throughout
think it
history.
has. I think this is a cycle that's happened over and over again is the you-know-whos are driving it all because they control the media.
Right.
So you can say, well, that's kind of like racist of you to just blame everything on them. There's a lot of different people. No, you got to look at who are the megalomaniac psychopaths pushing the agenda out. It's people from that country from 1948.
It
They
is.
control the
And I
media.
I think it all stems from their belief system, which is that they are better than everybody else and
Yes,
that they need to wipe everybody else out
they're entitled.
and rule the world.
They feel like they're entitled to do that.
Mhm.
They're just like, yeah, we're entitled to treat you like a goyim,
Yeah.
you know? So they just kind of feel like they're just superior to us.
So do you think, Firefly, that the tide is turning?
I do.
Yeah,
I think the tide is turning and they're terrified.
I think so
And so
too.
now you see a lot of people coming out like going, look, don't be talking about that country from 1948. We need to change the laws. Free speech has a code. All
Yeah,
of that
yeah,
is a reaction to their fear.
right. And when they do that, though, it's like a vicious cycle because when they do that kind of stuff, it just gets people like us.
Talking more.
Yeah,
We brought it up.
yeah.
We had, oh, this is a good topic to talk
More
about today.
more people get mad and riled up about that stuff and want to fight back against it. So,
You know what? It's kind of like the dam analogy we were talking about with the Hoover Dam.
yeah,
So right now there's a trickle
right.
going through the dam. So they're going to go up and try to patch up that trickle, but
Hmm.
another one's going to break loose up higher in the wall.
And it might be bigger. It
It
might
might be
be, it
bigger,
might open the floodgates.
totally.
Yeah.
Or it's like the whack-a-mole.
Hmm.
You whack this mole, but then another one pops up here. You got to whack that one, but then another one pops up here. There's another thing that works against them.
Uh-huh.
The Barbara Streisand one. What's that one?
Oh, the Barbara Streisand effect.
Yes, tell me
Yeah,
about that.
you remind us about that because
Because the Streisand effect was when I think it was back in the late 90s or the early 2000s. Barbara
okay.
Streisand went on the internet and she was like, "Excuse me." Please stop taking pictures of my house.
God, you
My
sound like
Malibu house is so nice, and stop taking pictures of my big dome that I
oh
have.
God, because I'm so special. I don't want you to look at it.
Yeah, because like I think there was like remember Robin Leach and Lifestyles of the Rich and
Yeah.
Famous. And he like went to her house and he's like, Barbara Streisand's Malibu home. And so everybody could see it from the highway. So they're driving on the one, you know,
Yeah.
and they'd be like, oh, there's Barbara Streisand's house that I saw in Robin Leach. And they were stopping and taking pictures. So
Ah.
she comes out and she goes, okay, enough is enough. I am living my elite lifestyle. I don't want to see you plebs taking pictures of my house.
Yeah, I don't even want you looking at me.
So once she did that, then people were like making pilgrimages from Wyoming
Oh my
to take
God.
pictures of her house
Oh my
out
God.
of just anger that she would have the audacity and the temerity to tell people what to do.
Yeah.
And don't take pictures of my house. So it caused what was called the Barbara Streisand effect. So what it is when you tell people don't do this,
Yeah.
they do it
Like
in abundance.
don't pay attention to the elephant in the room.
Yes.
You
Like, so
know?
you see Alex Jones coming out and saying, don't be acting like these guys. Now, dude, everyone's going to start acting like that.
Totally. That
Because
reminds me of that cat that we saw, Gucci. He's like,
Gucci.
don't look at me. I'm too beautiful.
Yes. Gucci always does that. I saw him the other night. I was driving because the dude walks him.
That's so
At like
funny.
9:30 at night, he gets out and he goes and walks, and then Gucci just kind of cruises around. So I saw him. It was late, so it was dark out, and I go, Gucci, what's up? And he just kind of goes, yes, you can look at me for a minute.
Just for a minute.
Hmm.
That's enough now. That's what Barbara Streisand was doing.
And if you see him and you go up and you go and try to pet him, he'll like let you pet him, but then he'll just walk away and go, "You've made me mad."
Cats are such assholes.
So asshole. You're like, dude, I was just appreciating how cool you are. I know, but still, it's bothersome to be appreciated. So yeah, that's how she was.
Yeah.
She was like, don't appreciate my home so much. I know I'm rich and beautiful, but I'm not beautiful. I got a big nose, but my house is.
Yeah, so
So I have so white pill.
white pill.
White pill for this episode is yes, I do believe the tide is turning,
Mhm.
and I think that they should be afraid. And now you're going to see they're going to be afraid. They are afraid,
They are.
and their afraidness. The white pill is be alert of their afraidness because they're going to come out and they're going to attack themselves in order to make themselves out to be a victim.
Totally. And then they're going to be doing the gaslighting thing where they say everybody's crazy. What did Ben Shapiro just say?
Yeah,
Right?
Ben Shapiro, he comes out and he goes, okay, you're absolutely insane if you think that AIPAC had anything to do at all with Massie not winning his primary.
Yeah,
Dude, give
you're
me a
let
break,
me
bro.
just announce what happened
And then say
and
you're crazy.
tell you that if you're thinking that, you're insane.
So let's just like
But that's not how he talks.
let's
He's
do
more like,
no.
oh,
He talks like this. He's
mm,
just a little like this, and he's just so
with his
mad.
little beanie.
He's so mad because when he has sex with whoever he's having sex with, he can't really feel it. So he's angry. So he comes out and he goes, you're an idiot, an absolute moron, if you think that AIPAC had anything to do with Massie not winning the primary. So that means that's revealing the method.
Hmm.
It's exactly what happened. The
Yeah,
fact that he's saying it makes me go, oh, that's what happened.
that's what happened.
Because I
Yeah.
wasn't even sure that that might have happened.
But
I had a different take. I had that they both got killed. Massie and his wife got killed by the country from 1948
yeah,
after he went on Tucker and said that AIPAC controls our Congress.
well, I think that still be maybe the case, but I think that not everybody is privy to the entire plan. So they still had to play the whole thing out and make it look like Massie was still around. And
Oh,
they had the placeholder, the guy,
well, yeah,
the
that's what I always
the
felt.
body double.
He was like a body double
Yeah,
or a clone.
yeah, but they couldn't have him win. So I think that AIPAC really did manipulate the situation so
They had to make
that he
sure he
wouldn't
didn't win.
win. You know what I mean?
That's true. And so when he comes out and said that, he's revealing the method.
He probably thinks that that really was Massie
Yeah.
and he didn't win, but it had nothing to do with AIPAC having anything to do with it. And you're crazy if you think so.
And people might say, what is AIPAC and what do they have to do? Dude, AIPAC controls our Congress.
Yeah.
And
And Massie had said that when Massie was really Massie before his wife died suddenly, he said that everybody in politics has an AIPAC handler
Everybody on the Republican
on the
side.
Republican
The
side.
Democrats all toe the line.
They all toe the
They're like a
line.
cult.
They don't need a handler
They
because
don't need a
they
handler.
just do what they're supposed to do. But the other ones all have AIPAC handlers that are funding and controlling what they do.
So, like, if you're a Christian, they're like, no, it's fine. You can be a Christian. I understand Christian conservatism is this powerful block in American politics. They go, good, good, good. Just remember the Schofield Bible says we have to support that country from 1948. Otherwise, we bring about the book of Revelation. But good, good, good. So that's what exactly. So he's coming out and he's saying, you're stupid if you think that. So he thinks that people are going to just listen to him and go, well, Shapiro says and I'm stupid for thinking that. So I'll just abandon that whole thing.
Yeah, who's still listening to Shapiro? Do
I don't
people
know.
still?
He gets foisted, so people probably
Yeah,
listen to him.
I kind of wonder though about like guys like him, like
Dude, my friend, remember I told you my friend who I told him that that country from 1948 rules everything, and he was like, I don't want to believe that.
yeah.
He listens to Ben Shapiro.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, and he thinks he's cool. He
Because I
thinks
was
he's
kind
cool.
of thinking maybe that those kind of guys are just foisted and they make it look like people are listening to them when actually people really aren't listening to them. You know what I mean?
He placates conservatives. He acts like
Uh,
he's on their side, and some conservatives who don't have the discernment that you and I do,
yeah,
that see, because you and I have finally learned that there is no right and left.
right.
There's the puppet masters controlling puppets on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who don't see through that paradigm, they still think that there's a conservatives and we got to get these Democrats out of here. He placates them. He speaks to those people.
Hmm.
So I think the white pill is you're going to see a lot of that corralling. You're
Right.
going to see a lot of people coming out and saying, stop feeling like this.
Stop feeling like that.
But that's only going to cause the Streisand effect to take place.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
Because when you tell somebody to stop feeling that way,
Totally.
that's the way they're going to
Like I'm like that with my daughter, dude. Like if I go tell my daughter, look, I really don't want you to do this and this, she's gonna go do that and that
Yeah.
specifically.
You gotta reverse the psychology on those things with kids.
So I think it works the same way with audiences from the
Yeah,
news. I think now news outlets have lost all credibility. Everybody knows they're full of
totally.
shit.
Totally.
So every time they come out and try to manage people's takeaways, people are going to do exactly what they're telling them not to do.
Yeah,
That's the white pill.
that is the white pill. That's a
And
good one.
dude, things are shifting, and these idiots that have been controlling the media are losing their grip on the mental, on the minds of people.
Yep.
They're losing the mental grip.
So
Maybe the brainwashing is fading away.
it is. So the another thing we have to watch out for though is um we have to keep talking to our children because they have a mental grip on them by their teachers who are extremely brainwashed
Totally.
by this whole thing. And I feel like a lot of the teachers, I think, are going to be some of the last to catch on to what's happening, you
Because
know?
teachers have cushy little lives.
Mhm.
I mean, these teachers get so much time off these
Mhm.
days. Have you noticed how many days off your kid has?
They get a ton of days off,
Way more than we did.
and I know it can be a hard job for sure, but I hear I have friends who are teachers and they're complaining about like, not having enough money and stuff. They're making like almost $100,000 a year. And I'm thinking
For
that's
9 months.
a pretty good
You don't
salary.
even work a full year.
Yeah, and you get all summer off, you get all holidays off
You
and
have
Christmas vacation.
cush hours.
So I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem that bad, you
That's
know.
why. And that's why they're going to be the last ones to rock the boat.
Mm-hmm.
They're like the Indian dudes who are here, like indentured servant.
Yeah.
And they like Dr. T that works at my ex-wife's pet hospital.
Right.
And he is an indentured servant from India. So he comes here, he has to work at that one company because
Yeah.
they sponsor him.
And he won't complain about
He
that.
will not rock the boat.
No.
So they say, I want you to give injections and medications to animals that they don't need just to drive revenue. And he's going to go, okay,
Mm-hmm.
just tell me what my quota is and I will exceed it.
Totally.
That's how a lot of people, the white pill is we need to push back against that
Yep.
because complacency and aligning yourself with this for financial security is the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, and you know, like drawing attention to these things is really important because then the word gets out and more people learn about this stuff and more people I think have the courage to speak up, you know.
Yes. So I think white pill is we need to call out when you hear about any type of racially motivated crimes. Look into it. 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10. It's fake. It's fake. If there's any racially motivated crime out there, it's fake.
It's media driven.
Like you saw those dudes going up and saying, "Get out of here, you know who," and come
Yeah.
back. That was fake.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, I don't think that's real.
No, that dude is like paid to go out there and be an agitator
Yeah.
so that the you know who's can portray themselves as a victim.
Yeah. And then they can keep selling the whole idea that we need to like have the czar and the laws and everything to like fight against this horrible crime.
Like they still love their 6 million number.
I know.
They love 6 million.
Yeah.
Even though I am under the impression that all of the images of emaciated bald people from World War II was the Holodomor. That those were people from Stalin who held the grain, didn't let them eat. They starved. They escaped Germany. They had lice. They had to shave their heads. Those were the Holodomor. Because in that Europa video, which I think was revealing the method, I think it was controlled opposition for sure, but it was revealing the method. They showed footage of actual concentration camps from World War II in Germany. And those people from country from 1948 had beautiful clothes. They had beautiful. They were able to play music. They had food. They had beautiful facilities that they were kept in. It was nice
Why were they kept there?
because Hitler did round them up.
Oh,
Because what happened is Hitler came in and he said, no more usury, no more porn. Like, if you look into just prior to Hitler taking power, what the you know who's were doing in Germany was disgusting. There was all kinds of underground tranny stuff going on
mm,
and usury had because out of World War I, Germany was told to pay all of this money in reparations for the damage they caused in World War I. Well, the you know who's were controlling the banks and they were charging usury against them so that they would be broke forever. They would never get out of that
wow.
hole by paying back the reparations. So Hitler saw that and he said, "We're not paying usury anymore." So what happened is uh in the according to Europa in the 1930s, the entire global population of those people from that country from 1948, they have like a pack and they have like a group that goes and meets and puts out statements to the world. And they're called international Jewry. So international Jewry in the 30s declared war on Hitler
Hmm.
because he kicked them out. So he literally did put some people, but they showed the camps that they put them in. They were kind of like comparable to the internment camps that we put the Japanese in. There was no shaved heads and there was no gassing. There was no extermination going on. Maybe, several of them probably died there. They might have been old people or they got sick, or whatever. But all the deaths were considered to be gassed. They got gassed. But that wasn't the case. And there's no evidence that one dude from that country from 1948 went to Auschwitz and he's like, there's no evidence that anybody got gassed here.
Yeah, and he said that there's no technical way that those chambers could have actually functioned in the way that they've taught us that they did.
That's
That,
right.
yeah.
They said
So
this chamber could not have
it
done
could have
this. Look
never,
at the physical evidence.
yeah, it was like they were like wooden rooms and stuff. Like there was no way the gas would have like stayed in there like the way they were describing and stuff.
Yep.
So that was suspicious,
But they'll still use the 6 million number to portray themselves as
even
victims.
though there weren't even 6 million people there at the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they'll use Jesse Smollett type tactics too.
So, what do you think about this quote from Trump that said that he was going to be the next prime minister of Israel?
I think that could be true in that he is revealing the method and was told to say that because remember that guy David Goldberg? Do you remember David
Which one was
Goldberg?
he?
He was the dude who we've talked about him a few times. He made that video that said that Trump back in 2014 was approached by those people from that country from 1948 to go and play a reality show script over the next 10 years and he was going to be the president twice everything was going to be scripted. They were going to rig the elections. They were going to place him in power. Ultimately, the plan is for him to dismantle America and destroy America. And then they're going to put in this one world government in which he will be the first king of the new one world government based in that country from 1948.
Wow.
That was,
So the no kings thing,
yes.
there's actually some base to that.
I think that the No Kings is like full on controlled opposition.
Yeah.
They go and they put that out there because there is some evidence that he wants to be king of the world.
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be the king of the world. And so what he wants to do is he wants to end America, dismantle America, and then go start a one world government uh,
Based out of Israel.
based out of Israel.
Hmm.
So when he's saying I want to be the next prime minister of Israel, he's
Meaning
doing a
prime minister of the world.
he's winking his eye at them, saying, "I'm on board with this plan. I'm on board with this plan to dissolve America, form a one world government, all based out of that country from 1948."
Hmm.
But Satan's plans get thwarted.
They do.
They get thwarted.
They do.
So I hate to say it, but I don't see that happening. I think that America might be done. I believe America is done in that we've already hit the iceberg. Fat Steve is like,
But Steve is still eating his fondue.
where's the roast beef? And it's like, sir, you have to go to the lifeboats. That's okay. I'm gonna go to the roast beef stand. But I think we have hit the iceberg.
Yeah.
America has. I think America's done because we're too corrupt.
Yeah.
We're too corrupt.
Yeah.
You can because Thomas Jefferson said, America will fail without a moral populace. We don't have a moral populace anymore. We
No.
have people who will take bribes. We have people who will do anything for money and power, sell their soul even. So America doesn't work. We're going to need to have a different government, like kind of based on the Constitution, but with more checks and balances in place.
So do you think that we're gonna have to go to Antarctica and start over?
No, I don't think we'll have to go to Antarctica and start over. I think that there'll be a just, I think there's going to be a power vacuum very soon. I
Hmm.
think that the people who are in power now are going to lose power and they're freaking out. They know it. They're going to lose power. There's going to be a vacuum and it's going to be filled by good people.
I love it.
You like that?
I like it.
That's the white
It's
people.
a renaissance.
It's a renaissance. That's what
Yeah,
it is. That's what's coming. I
totally.
totally believe that in my heart.
That's so perfect.
Anything else on this one?
I think that's enough.
All right.